Hi everyone, I'm Allie with the Potomac Bead Company, and I'm going to demonstrate for you today how to use tubing. So we have a couple different kinds. We have rubber tubing, velour tubing, thick and thin. What I'm going to be using is the clear Beadalon rubber tubing, and it is a frost color. We also have some Beadalon velour tubing, and we have some rubber tubing. These come in different sizes and different gauges, and that's going to allow you to play around with your design and get it to look a little bit different when you're working on it. So what it is it's a tubing like it sounds, and it's straw-like. It has an opening on one end, and you just cut it and kind of go with the flow and what you want. If you have large hole beads, you can slide it right over the tubing. You can use it right with your beading wire, with your Beadalon wire, with your flex right. You can slide it right over the design. What I'm going to be doing is using memory wire. So I've started by cutting my memory wire, and this is a bracelet. I've started by cutting my memory wire and turning over just a turned loop with my round nose pliers. I'll demonstrate how I did that kind of at the end because we're going to repeat it. And what I'm going to do is go in from the end of my memory wire, and the first thing I'm going to do is slide on one of my beads. The beads that I'm using here are some of our beads that are matte finished. They are in kind of aquamarine-ish color, which is my favorite. And the easiest way to get beads down on the memory wire is usually to kind of expand it like a slinky and just kind of let them roll down. After the bead, I am going to put on part of my tubing. So the tubing will just slide right on, and I've pre-cut this to the length that I wanted to. And the clear is a little funky because you can see through it. It looks pretty with gold underneath. I've seen a bunch of people do that. I'm using this silver. And I'm just going to take that tubing and kind of force it down next to my bead. Because this is smaller, it doesn't roll down like the bead, so it's a little bit harder. And I push that down next to my bead, and now I have my tubing. What that's going to do is create a space. So if you're looking for a space without seeing a lot of beads, that's where this clear tubing, kind of the frost tubing, comes in handy. Again, I'm going to stretch my memory wire and let my bead fall down just like a slinky, kind of push it in place. I find with the tubing it's easier to keep it in place. With a lot of memory wire stuff, you can just move it down the wire as you go. It's easier at the start with this tubing to kind of keep it where you need it to be. And the tubing, because it's coming off of a spooled section, it is rounded. It's going to stay in that rounded shape, so it will go on a certain way. And you just push it down into place. And you continue doing this, adding the beads and adding the tubing, and you're going to get a fun look to it. And then I'll show you how to do the ends. So now I've gotten done stringing all my tubing and my beads on. Again, I use that matte bead and then also a check glass 8mm silver bead. And I've gotten to the end, and I want to leave myself a little bit of space. I don't want to go right to the end because I need to do a turned over loop. To do that, I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and this is the same that I did in the beginning. Hold the wire where I can see it, but I can't feel it. And I'm just going to turn that over and make myself my loop. I want to make sure that loop is really closed, but I don't necessarily need to make sure that it's center. What I did is I got some charms here to put on. You can put them on one end, you can put them on both ends, and you're just simply going to open up your loop a little bit. Slide your charms on, and I thought this kind of looked sea-ish and a little bit oceany with that matte sea glass-ish type bead. And you're going to put your charms on, let them dangle. I have a little crab and a fish here, bonefish. Close it up, and then those are just going to dangle. I could have put them on both sides if I want to. You can also end your memory wire with bead caps, and then all you do is you take your memory wire. It's going to be a little hard to see at first. And you just simply wrap it around your wrist to get the look that you want. And there you have it. So it's fun, it wraps around, and it just kind of hangs out because the memory wire conforms to itself. But the clear gives it a nice little organic look, especially if you use smaller beads, do smaller spaces. It spaces out nicely on the memory wire. Again, you can throw it onto the beading wire also if you want to do an illusion type necklace. So it's really fun. I prefer the clear look to the black look, but that's your preference. And I did forget to mention that when you're talking about thicker rubber, you are going to have a larger hole. So hopefully you play around with a bunch of the tubing, have fun with it, kind of a fun design element. It takes the place a lot of some seed beads and to make things look a little bit more spaced out. So thanks for watching, and hope you do a fun project like this with your beads as well.